Welcome to art class. Hello everyone. Are you ready for art class? Have you ever had an art class on a computer? No? Me either. Don't worry, we'll learn about this together. Lesson objective. Select safe methods for art materials. That's just fancy teacher talk for describing what we are going to learn about in today's lesson. Set up your space. Find a nice cozy area in your house where you can sit comfortably and focus, but not too cozy. I don't want you to fall asleep. You'll miss all the fun stuff. You'll also need a good spot for your art materials. Words of the day: safety and art materials. Safety first. Ready? I'll say it. Safety. Now, can you say it? The word is safety. Nice. Now, let's say it together. Ready? Safety. I wonder what that word means. It sounds a lot like the word safe. Have you heard anyone use the word safety? Can you think of a time when you were being safe? What was that like? In art class, we keep ourselves safe, we keep each other safe, and we keep our things safe. Today, we are going to talk about keeping our things safe during art class. Being safe with our art things means that we treat them nicely and we use them in the right kinds of ways so they don't break and they don't hurt anyone. Do you have a favorite toy or game? Think about how you keep your things safe by playing with them carefully and in the right kinds of ways. Art materials. I'll say it once. Art materials. It's 2 words. Now, can you say it? Ready? Say art materials. Nice work. Now, say it with me. Ready? Here we go. Art materials. I know about art, but I wonder what that word materials means. What do you think? Art materials, sometimes called supplies. Art materials are the things that you use to make art. Today, you'll need these things. This video. Things for drawing. Things for coloring. And things for drawing and coloring on, like paper. Well, I suppose you don't need paper, but it's definitely handy if you want to color. Our first art material is crayons. Crayons are made out of wax and pigment, which is color. Crayons are used to color on paper and cardboard. They are wrapped in paper to make them easier to hold. Sometimes you might peel the paper off of a crayon to get the color of the crayon on the side of it. Don't leave crayons in the sun or in a hot place, or they will melt. Don't put crayons in your mouth. Yuck. Pencils. Now there are 2 kinds of pencils. One kind of pencil is a pencil for writing. These pencils are the yellow pencils that you probably use in the classroom that have a gray center. Sometimes this is called lead. It's not really lead, it's graphite, but it doesn't have any pretty colors. It's just one. Colored pencils, on the other hand, have lots of different shades and tones. Colored pencils are made of pigment and another kind of wax. Sometimes you can use a colored pencil to fill it in on a coloring sheet. Sometimes you need to sharpen them. That's when you might need the help of an adult. Paint. Paint is a colored substance that will dry after you use it. The paint in this picture is watercolor paint. You can use watercolor paint with a brush and water to paint on paper or cardboard. There are lots of different kinds of paints for painting on different kinds of things. Some paints won't wash out of clothes, and some paint can even make you sick. It is always important to ask an adult before you use any kind of paint. Paint brushes. Paint brushes have different parts. First, they have a handle, and then they have a metal ferrule. I call this the danger zone. If your hand is on the danger zone, or the ferrule, you're probably going to get paint all over yourself. The last part is the bristles. This is a hair on the end of the brush. When you use a paintbrush, gently wash it and dry it. When you're done, you can keep the hair nice. No one wants a bad hair day, not even your paintbrush. Scissors. Scissors have 2 handles and 2 blades and are used for cutting paper and other thin materials. Scissors can be sharp, so you need to be extra careful with them. Never throw scissors or run with them. If you need to carry scissors, be sure to walk. Put your scissors away when you are done with them. Markers. Just like paint, there are many different kinds of markers for many different kinds of jobs. There are dry erase markers for dry erase boards, permanent markers like Sharpies for special jobs like drawing on glass and plastic, washable markers for coloring on paper. This is the kind of marker you're probably familiar with. It usually is part of your school supplies. It's important to put the lids back on your marker when you are done. Without a lid, markers will dry out and you won't be able to use them next time. Oil pastels. Now, most people don't have oil pastels at home. I know I don't. Oil pastels are used to draw, and they are a pigment or color that is mixed with oil. They are wrapped in paper to make them easier to hold and to keep your hands clean. Oil pastels can make bright colors, but they are very messy. Erasers. Erasers are made out of rubber or plastic, and they are used to take marks off of paper. They work best with regular yellow No. 2 pencils. They might work okay with colored pencils, but you definitely don't want to use them with crayons or oil pastels. Glue. Glue helps things stick together. There are lots of different kinds of glues for lots of different kinds of jobs. Make sure to ask an adult before you use any kind of glue. You probably have white school glue or a glue stick at home or in your classroom supplies. This kind of glue works best on paper. You only need to use a little bit of glue at a time. After you use glue, let your project sit in a safe place while the glue dries. Remember to always put the lid back on the glue so it doesn't dry out. Now it's your turn. See if you can look around and find art materials where you are. You can definitely ask an adult for help. See if you can find the art supplies that I mentioned and maybe ones that I missed. We talked about crayons, pencils, paint brushes, scissors, markers, oil pastels, an eraser, and glue. Scavenger hunt activity. Here is that list again, and a video of what I found at my house. You can definitely ask an adult for help. It's okay if you can't find all of the things, and it might be good to pause the video now so you can see that list again. Hello, boys and girls. Now, this is the part where I show you what I found on my scavenger hunt. The first thing that's on the list is a pencil. I found a regular yellow number 2 pencil that my kids usually use to write their name on their worksheet. The next thing that I found, the second thing that's on the list, was a colored pencil. This one is a pink colored pencil. I didn't find a crayon. I don't know where all of our crayons went. I'm sure there's one somewhere around the house, but I couldn't find it. I also couldn't find any glue, but instead of glue, I found tape. This is a roll of masking tape or painter's tape. The next thing on my list, maybe this is 2 things, but I found an eraser. You see? That eraser is attached to this pencil. So this can be an eraser, and a pencil. That counts for 2. The next thing on my list was a marker. I found a green marker, and look, the lid snaps on. It's not dried out because we keep it with the lid on the top when we're not using it. Now, I didn't find a crayon. I didn't find glue, but I did find another kind of marker. This little teeny tiny marker is a dry erase marker. And when I have a dry erase marker, I can write on a dry erase board. Now that you've watched the video, it's time to go to the next part of the lesson. On this page, it might say the same thing as yours, but it might say a different grade. Don't worry about that part. But the next part is to answer the question. Did you like the video? Choose yes or no, and then click the next button. Yes, I liked the video. I chose yes. Now, I'm going to go to the next question. Now, what materials? Do you remember that scavenger hunt? What art materials did you find from the scavenger hunt? I didn't find any crayons. I didn't find any paintbrushes. I didn't find any oil pastels, so I won't check those. I did find colored pencils. I did not find scissors. I did find an eraser. I did not find paint. I did find markers, but I did not find any glue. I found tape instead, and that's okay. Now, I'm going to hit the blue button in the bottom that says Review. I have answered 2 questions. Now, I can click on Finish. Ta-da! That's it. I'm done. But if I want to learn more, I can go back to my art class. Yours probably looks a lot like this. Even though this one says the 1st grade, they're very similar. Now, if I want to do more work, I can go to this red folder. And I'm going to stop right there for just a second because this is only if you want to do more. It is 100% optional, and I highly recommend that you finish the rest of your homework first. But if you want to learn more about art materials and safety, you can go to this folder. It's also red, And it says optional extras for lessons.